Hold up.
around
You see, you're
me.
doing it again. You're not
Go, okay.
listening. You're jumping in. And what I'm trying to get you to highlight, what I'm trying to highlight to you is, you can apologize all you want, but when you're not listening to that person's what they're actually saying, the apology is null and void. Because what you're doing is you're jumping ahead of what the situation is. The person has to fully finish the point, so the person can
Okay.
actually get to that point. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So
Right.
you said you're sorry for the fight thing. I hear it. I'm not trying to harp on that. I was trying to highlight something to you though. This is the whole point. So when I was highlighting certain things, I was saying to you, this might be a little bit deeper than you actually just saying it's just a moment. That's the point I wanted to get to. It's
Pedro,
deeper than. Yeah, go
I
for it.
think you
Hey guys, listen. It's one of those videos, isn't it? Am I apologizing? No, we're not. But what I will do is I will be accountable. And when I say accountable, what I mean by that is I'll hold myself to a higher account for things I could do better. Right? Because I think I'm in that season. I'm always happy to learn, to grow, and develop. And I feel like after watching it back a few times, I was like, let me watch it a few times back. Let me go and pray and come back and see what else I could garnish and garner from a situation. Now, my first words will be say this. Listen, impact intent. My intent wasn't to try and drag Alexis anywhere or try to hurt her or try to call her out or anything like that at all. But you know what? My intent, I can also understand. My impact, my impact may not have come up the way that I wanted it to come across. Okay? And so I understand that my impact for certain people who are watching outside may not be the way we wanted to see it, right? The ending wasn't great. But then I have to also be very fair to myself, right? Because sometimes I hold myself accountable and sometimes I'm doing too much. Let me be fair to myself. This was the same ending I had with Alonso. I don't see people calling me out on that one. I had the same ending with Alonso. Alonso, me and him went back and forth for 20 minutes. And in fact, I said he was unloving from what he did. I didn't get called out then. The same thing happened with Zadia. I didn't get called out then. Same thing happened with, I can't remember who the other person, I'm trying to think. When we had Denise. I had Denise early on, way back early on the season. Same thing then. And there's probably even a few more with other guys and some of as well. I've been very hard, if you want to call it that, quote unquote, on every interview. I'm always getting told that I'm being too hard or too little. This, but it's always about how people actually feel. Samson, yeah, exactly. Samson, same thing. Same kind of perspective. But I will hold myself accountable by saying there are some things that could have been done better, right? So I'm gonna start by saying this. In the questioning, when I watched it back, there were a couple of things I know I can do better. Number one, here's the first thing I can be accountable and thing I can learn and grow. When someone finishes a sentence and I immediately respond, it's going to always it's always gonna it has a potential to become what we call a back and forth. Okay? All right? It has the potential to go back and forth and to look bad, right? And it depends on the context of the situation. So whenever you go back and forth, then this situation can always look like it can go towards the left. So let me be accountable for that, right? What I should have done is maybe slowed it down a little bit, gave a pause, had some consideration, thought time, right? Because sometimes it's about perception rather than actually what's actually happening. Because what I did with her is the same thing I did with Alonso. And what I did with Alonso is the same thing I did with Samson. What I did with Samson is the same thing I did with Zadia. In fact, I do on every single interview. I do the exact same thing. I do the exact same thing as every single interview. The exact same thing. But as I'm in a place of growth, I can also admit that, you know what, maybe there's a little bit I can change in there, right? To do better. Take that pause time when I can see the conversation shifting, and just kind of give myself a second or two so that it doesn't become a back and forth, right? So that it doesn't become a back and forth. I can hold myself accountable to that. Number two, where I can hold myself accountable, the line of questioning, the type of question, okay, the type of question, all right, was an issue, right? So my type of question here created more tension, right? So I get what I was trying to say, but like I love what Sean and Jay kind of said to me the other day. Jay and Sean were saying to me, listen, you could have asked questions in the sense of being actually in a place where you could have said, am I hearing you correctly? Like kind of asking for the feedback. Am I hearing you correctly? Have I got this right? You said X, Y, and Z. Is that what you really mean? I could have asked more qualifying questions. My questions were a bit more, what I would say is, My questions were a bit more. Someone might say judgmental. I don't think judgmental is the right word, but I would say it was far more leading. So I would say that that was far more leading in the sense of the way I was questioning the situation, right? So I should have asked more qualifying questions, which is, wait, I'm hearing this and it sounds a bit mad. Is this what you mean? Okay, Alexis, you're saying this, but are you? I'm hearing that, but is this what you really mean? Like, because the way you're talking, it sounds like to me, and it would have been more qualifying questions at that particular point, right? So yes, I could have done that. Okay, so I can hold myself accountable to that point as well as another aspect of growth and learn in the way I handle the conversation. Definitely. I think another thing that I can be accountable for is I can also talk about the fact that my own pattern. You know what I mean? Let's talk about my own pattern, right? Yes, I like to be proved right. Who doesn't want to be proved right? But I have a platform to be able to do so. So I understand perception and how it's going to look on me. But I have a pattern. You're absolutely right. When I ask questions, I'm trying to get an answer. That's my pattern. My pattern, and it won't change because the reality of the situation is that's life, and that's what we do on these interviews. We are trying to find an answer. We're trying to get on this channel. I have a purpose of trying to bring what's happening right now to what happened previously. Nobody's a vacuum. So yes, unfortunately, part of my patterning is that I ask questions to try and get an answer to really be able to understand where that person's coming from. And sometimes, yes, sometimes I get locked in. And unfortunately, sometimes when you are in that space, you can get locked in. And when you get locked in, you don't readjust yourself very well, right? So sometimes you're locked in on a path and you should ask another question maybe to unlock it a bit better. But because you're on that path, you don't ask a different question, which goes back to my previous point about how I could have been accountable. The type of question that towards the end I could have asked. I could have been like, no, wait, I'm hearing something, but is this what you mean? You know what I'm saying to you, right? Is this what you mean? Okay. That's also an important part in this situation too, right? So I can hold myself accountable for that particular aspect. I can definitely hold myself accountable for that as well. Let me say also another part that I feel I can be accountable in terms of growing from. That's it. That's the 4 parts I want to go. And just like I said, maybe a bit more rerouting. Okay, a bit more rerouting. Okay, a bit more rerouting. I think the major thing is just the rerouting. Okay, all right. I think the rerouting. The rerouting, it could have been done better. The way I wanted it, was rerouting. Now I've got the accountability out of the way. Let's have a real conversation because, I feel like there's a lot of comments and I want to address it in the appropriate way. When I was wrong with Kayla, I came out, I did a video and I apologized, right? Because I was wrong. When I came out with Married at First Sight a couple of years ago, I was wrong. I came out with that. I was wrong, right? I came out of the situation with the original video where we spoke about Kiki Palmer, right? I came out and I was wrong about that situation, right? And I came out and I did an apology. This is not one of those times. Okay, this is not one of those times. Okay, this is not an apology. And here's why it's not an apology. I actually watched it back. for a third time, right? And when I was asking questions, the point I was getting home was not about necessarily accountability. And if I ask you a question about being accountable, let me give you an example of what I'm going to say, right? If I say I'm accountable, I'm sorry for what I said, and then I turn around and tell you, oh, but you know what? I would fight that person anyway. Like you're being accountable for fighting, and they said, but I'm going to turn around, I'm going to fight that person anyway. Am I being accountable? If I'm going to tell you I'm going to be accountable for what I'm doing, then I turn around. Elsie trying to get me, and then I turn around and I go and put a thinly veiled threat. The reason why, and that's what I'm saying to you, like, so whilst I was hearing, I was like, the reason why I'm not hearing accountability is because you're still doing it right now, right? You're still kind of doing it right now. Like, you're telling me you're accountable for what happened. I'm like, but you're still threatening by saying we can get some guys to talk to him, whilst in the midst of saying I'm sorry for what I did then. So I wasn't actually talking about even the show anymore. But like I said, had I been more cognizant of the moment, I could have gone, let's pause it. I could have said, let me pause it, give myself a second or two, pause it, let it rest. Because sometimes a conversation needs to just rest before you re-enter. That 1 or 2 seconds, 1 or 2 seconds can make a difference. But when you go back to back to back to back to back, the point can be lost, right? And at several points I was being interrupted, so I couldn't finish the point. But again, I want to be accountable and say, listen, because it was a back to back to back to back, it made it look like it's combative, but it wasn't a back to back. It shouldn't have been a back to back. It should have been, let me pause it. I'm hearing something that I shouldn't really be hearing. I'm hearing something that don't really make sense. And if you're going to tell us the story of what actually happened, you can't then revise the history of what we saw, right? And that's why I pointed out further on along. I said, actually, wait, you talked about Justin and saying you're sorry, but then we look at the Justin situation. He was sitting down. It was only to the end. You know what I mean? So again, like I said, where I have to be accountable in this situation is actually, when I was hearing that and I'm hearing something different to what you're actually telling me, is actually take a second. Just take as someone said, take a 4 beat. Yeah, take a 4 beat. Just take a 4 beat and just kind of rest it and be like, you know what? Let's call it. Wait, hold on. Let's pause it there and then go. All right, and then go. Someone asked me, what is my ideal answer, Kojo? What could she have said that would have made you feel she was accountable? It wasn't that. It's the fact that when she was saying that because when she first started talking about what she said, and I said, I wasn't talking about what you said. If people go and watch the last half an hour, I can tell you how it went. I first started off by saying, it wasn't about what you said. So I wasn't asking if I accountable for what you said, because I understood what you said was what you said. Right? Because you already said what you said about it. Right? So, and maybe I'm using the accountability term wrongly. Maybe that's where also we're missing each other too. I can hold myself that, say maybe I'm using it incorrectly, and that's where we're kind of missing each other a little bit. I don't mind saying that as well. Maybe we're using the accountability aspect wrongly, right? But if somebody is sorry, right? If somebody's sorry, there was some inconsistency in the story. First and foremost, and thank you, Jay. Jay just brought it up. If you don't remember what was actually done to you, you don't remember exactly what was even said. At one point, she didn't even fully remember what Justin even really said. And then she remembered what Justin said. And I was like, wait, hold on. So there was a lot of other details that were getting thrown in. And I feel like I was trying to pick it. And so what I should have done, again, is slowed it down and taken it bit by bit. I should have slowed down and say, hey, wait. Let's stop here. Okay? Let's stop right here. Look, let's hit this point here. Let's pause this point here and address this issue. Okay? All right? Let's address this issue. You know what I'm saying to you? And I think that's where I also missed the beat, because I should have stopped her there. Okay? All right? Stopped her there and then kind of been like, look, just pause it here. Before we go further, let's stop it here so we can address this point so I can get more of your understanding. But I let the conversation go, but one too many times. And unfortunately, in that point, there were 3 or 4 things that were actually said in between that time that I was trying to address. So then it got lost. So yeah, I have to be accountable for that, because in the conversation, unfortunately, the conversation didn't get to where I wanted to get to, right? Which was to bring her into alignment, to understand. Because my final real point was not about even being accountable. It was actually making her see that there's something deeper going on here. This is not a drunk night. I'm so sorry. How many of you have had a drunk night and you've wowed out on everybody? The word patterns is a key word. Let me break this down for you. I'm a person that likes to see patterns, right? We look for patterns. Okay? Patterns. All right? We look for patterns. Okay? Patterns are, let me put in a proper term, right? Patterns. Okay? So a regular and intelligible form of sequence discernible in certain actions or situations. Patterns. Nobody's a vacuum. I'm not a vacuum. I'm showing you pattern right now. Okay, I am showing you a pattern right now by coming on here and doing a video. I'm showing you a pattern, because there have been other videos that after a video I've done a post video. So I'm showing you patterns, right? I'm showing you some patterns that I like to try and I don't like being misunderstood. So I'm gonna show you a pattern. And this is me being real now, okay? You know, so in this instance, when it comes to this situation, I have a pattern. Yeah, if I feel like I'm being misunderstood, or I feel like people are getting onto the wrong people, like I don't mind people getting onto me, but when people are getting onto my panel, I'm like, no. That's my pattern right there. Is no. If you want to come for anybody, come for me. That's my pattern. You know what I'm saying to you? Like if I feel like I'm the one that's instituted, it's like you come to me. You know what I'm saying? Don't come to the rest of the panel. You come to me. I'm the one that's been saying it. Come to me. Right? It's a pattern, right? But that pattern doesn't come out of nowhere. That pattern doesn't come out of nowhere. The pattern doesn't come out of nowhere. See, when we pretend as if behavior is as a vacuum, it's not a vacuum. When it's such a large response. Let me give an example, another one. Myself, Jay, Sean, Seaway, we had a conversation the other day, and I was in a conversation, and I got angry, and I left the conversation. Right? I got angry in the conversation, and then left it. And it's like, guys, you guys win. Exit the call. Boop. And then the Holy Spirit was like, yo, do you realize you're dealing with you're not dealing with your anger here? I was like, what do you mean anger? What do you mean anger? What do you mean anger? And I was like, you know what? I hear it, God. I've been angry. You know what I mean? I've been angry. I went back to the group. I said, I'm sorry. But actually, the part that really got me was the conversation I had with Seaway. This is me and Seaway had a conversation, and she explained it, right? She explained it. She was like, "Hold on a minute. When you the reason why you got frustrated is because you feel misjudged, you feel misheard." And I was like, "Oh, thank you for giving a piece of the puzzle to me, right?" But I had already gone and apologized first and foremost. I didn't wait. I went and apologized to the group. Now, why am I telling you this? Because my behavior is not a vacuum. My behavior is not a vacuum. So it doesn't come out of nowhere. Me feeling angry in that moment to exit the call the way I did, it doesn't come out of nowhere. It comes because there is a pattern of behavior. Right? There's a pattern of behavior. So when people are saying, oh, she was drunk and she was hungry and that's why she acted the way she did, yeah, okay, cool. Listen, if you snap on somebody, yeah, okay, you snapped in that second. We wouldn't be talking about that. We wouldn't be talking about it. If it was just a quick snap. But no, we've seen you with Koshia. We've seen you with the Laurent situation. We've seen you with Mika and Koshia again. We've seen you now with the if it's not the security guard, it's Will, get off you. Like, so there is several instances of angry behavior. And if you really want to really look at patterns, and I know, because like I said, I didn't realize I had my own anger. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize I had my own anger. Okay. I didn't realize I had my own anger. Okay. And you know, in a situation towards the end, watching how she handled me, right? Did we not see what Alexis did? I'm only one person, by the way, right? She couldn't see the comments at the time because she turned off comments, so she couldn't see the comments. It was just me and her having a conversation, right? And in that moment, when I was going back and forth with her and I was saying my opinion and she's saying her thoughts, I'm disagreeing with her thoughts, she's disagreeing with my thoughts. Okay, we're going back and forth, right? But then it gets to the end, and what happens at the very end? Pattern. Just like I am showing you a pattern right now. It's a pattern. So it's not a vacuum. It's not oh, she suddenly became this person. No. Nobody suddenly becomes that person. So this is why I was trying to get her to see. Now, somebody would say that, oh, I shouldn't push people before their time. Have I not been pushing? I've been doing interviews for 6 years. Sorry, 4 years. Who is ready to be pushed on this channel when they come on here? Who is ready? Who's ready for what we're about to give them when they come on here? Right? When we started, if you go back through all my interviews, there are moments in time where different people react in different ways, but nobody's really ready for that. I'm not ready when you change the situation. You know what I mean? I'm not ready for when you change the situation on me and you turn it around on me and question my Christianity, question my faith, question my work, question whether I'm this and that. I'm not ready for that. But do you know what? I've got a pattern. Do you get what I'm saying to you? I've got a pattern. So my thing is to highlight patterns of behavior. Susanna, I hear your points. I really do. Listen, I hear your points. So let me address it in the way I want to address it, right? I think we're still missing the point I'm trying to make. Patterns. You behave according to a pattern. Okay? When you behave in a particular way, it's not a vacuum. Saying that she started off warm, it's not an issue. Most of us start off warm. Most of us have a good facade. The reality of the situation is, why are we seeing this part? Right? So what I'm talking about is patterns. This is how we determine. Let me give you an example. Biblically example. Abraham lied to the king. Right? His son, Isaac, lied to the king. Then Jacob had a son called Jacob who became a trickster. Yeah? Pattern. Yeah? Lies and deceit. Listen carefully. Abraham lied to the king. Isaac lied to the king. Jacob lied. Now, the reason why the Bible mentions it, it's not because of how big or small the lie was. It's because it's showing you a pattern. Now, then, let's look at Sarah in the Bible. What did Sarah do when it came to the promise of God, when it came to their child? Instead of waiting for Isaac, she forced an issue to make Ishmael. Then, their son Isaac married Rebekah. What did Rebekah do when it came to their children between Jacob and Esau? Did she not push Jacob to go and steal the blessing of Esau? She's a trickster and forced the issue of God just like Sarah did. What then happens with Jacob? Jacob goes back to Rebekah's family, goes back to Laban, and as he goes to Laban, he's then tricked because it runs in the family. It's a pattern. So there's no behavior that is coming just out of a vacuum. You get what I'm saying to you? Right? The reason why I do what I do is because of a pattern. In my lifetime, I feel like I've not been heard. I feel like I've not been seen. So I take my time with people to listen. This is why the interview was 3 hours long. The interviews are 2 to 3 hours long because I want people to be heard. But it's actually coming from a place that I've been traumatized from a young kid. And I know we don't like the word trauma. I know black people don't like the word trauma. So I changed the word. Patterns. 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 So in that situation, I was trying to highlight to her. That's what I was trying to bring to her and bring that light to it. And of course, like I said, I hold myself accountable. I could have asked a few more other questions around that. You know what I mean? I could have, you know what I mean? Worked around it. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But there's patterns here, right? There are patterns to the behavior. And that's why the very end happened as it did. It's not because I was pushing. It's not because I'm pushing. It's not because I was asking questions. I spent 2.5 hours listening. I spent 2.5 hours really listening. I asked about family. I didn't even ask your relationship with your mum and dad. Right? Yeah, I'm gonna stick to patterns from now on. I'm gonna stick to patterns. DL, you read my notes. I literally was in my notes. I said, we're gonna stick to the word patterns from now on. We ain't gonna say trauma no more. I mean, to be honest, I didn't bring up the word trauma. She did. You see, this is another thing also. If you go back and watch it critically, I didn't bring up the word trauma. She did. She brought it up. She's like, I feel like you're looking for trauma. I was like, I didn't say there was any trauma. I didn't say there was trauma. Because the person's watched what I do already, right? So I'm very much aware. You know what I'm saying to you? It's very much aware. So all I'm trying to say is that we all have patterns of behavior. We all have patterns of behavior. So including myself, that's why I'm holding myself accountable, because I have a pattern of behavior, which is what contributed to the scenario we got into. Right? So do I overanalyze? Yes, I do. No. Let's be real. Do I overanalyze? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I overanalyze? Yes. And do you know what? And again, how do you know I overanalyze? Question, how do you know I overanalyze? You know when I overanalyze because you're looking at the what? Patterns. Thank you. I do it every live. Thank you, Siwe. I do it every live. And so, you know, the whole point is that I'm showing you a pattern of behavior. That's why you can hold me to and say, Koji, you overanalyze. You're absolutely right. Now, the question is, why do I overanalyze? Right? Now the question is, why do you overanalyze? Because it's not a vacuum. You don't just suddenly pick up a behavior and go, I'm going to overanalyze every situation. Right? It is not a vacuum. Yeah, it's not a vacuum. So in that moment, it's coming from somewhere. Yes, Miss Only says, I try to push people to prove your theory about them correct. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I do. I already said that. I have to be accountable. That sometimes you can go too far. Sometimes you can get locked into your position, which is what partly happened here because I couldn't adjust myself appropriately. I should have adjusted myself by taking a breather, asking the questions in a different way. I should have been like, hey, I'm hearing this, but is that what you're really saying? Because I want to be able to understand where you're coming from. Yeah, so I was wrong for that. I could be accountable for that. Okay? All right? I can be accountable for that. Right? No problem. I have to be fair and I have to be open to that perspective and see that there's a different way of looking at it. You know? The talking about trauma, I didn't bring up trauma. I asked questions about your past. And then when she said it, I then explained that trauma isn't always this crazy thing. I think we also need to understand as well, right? Trauma is not the crazy thing. I think people think trauma is, when we don't have education on certain things, I think we kind of see it kind of crazy. Trauma is not a crazy thing. Right? Trauma is not a crazy thing. Trauma is simply meaning that something was stressful for you. Right? Trauma is a response to an intensely stressful event that overwhelms your body and mind. What traumatized you doesn't traumatize me. Right? So, trauma, I didn't bring it up, but okay, we're going to talk about it now. So trauma is not always your mum abandoned you and didn't live for you. And this is why I was trying to explain. Emotional neglect is one of the hardest things to really talk about because people don't really consider emotional neglect. Right? Many people don't regard emotional neglect as a big thing. Right? And especially when people are telling their stories, I'm listening always for patterns. Why did you do this? Okay, why did you do that? What did you do that? That's the whole point of this situation. Right? So the reality of the situation is I wasn't trying to bust Alexis' chops. No, I wasn't trying to bust her chops. I was trying to get her to see that there's a pattern here, that your reactions are not because everyone else did something, right? Every story is somebody else did something. Someone else did this. That's why I did what I did. No. Like you said, you do it, but what's the pattern? Let's go back into the roots of why we got here. That's what my channel's about. That's what the channel's always been about. And that's what the channel will always continue to be about. You get what I'm saying to you? It's always been that. It will continue to be that. And it has been that. For the last 4 years, when we've done these interviews, it's been the same thing. I've got the same pattern. I ask the same questions. You know what I mean? Okay? Michael, I hear that, but then you're in the wrong place. Okay? If you want to show, you're in the wrong place. Respectfully. You're in the wrong place. I've never done that. For the last 4 years, I've never done that. I've not changed my style. And I won't change it now because people want it to change. I like to do things in the way I like to do it. That's why you're here. If that's not why you're here, then you don't need to be here. There are other channels who do interviews. You get what I'm saying to you? So this isn't about necessarily, and again, everyone says not everyone has childhood trauma. What do you consider trauma? What do you consider trauma? What do you consider trauma? Because if we've got an incorrect definition of trauma, then we're gonna make it bigger than it actually is. When she said, and I'm going by what she said, right? When she said, "Oi, listen, look, can't lie to you, a child," and when she said it, I actually said it. When she said it, she said, "Oh, as a child, when you're talking up and your parents basically just shut you down." Do you know that's trauma for a child? Do you know that as a child, when you begin to speak up, right? When you begin to speak up in a particular way, right? When you speak up in a particular way, that when that child gets shut down, it can become trauma for that child. So that can be trauma. And the thing is, what my job is to try and highlight some of those things. I know sometimes we don't look at that because, again, for instance, let me give you an example, right? Let me give you an example. I remember I used to fight people on saying they're not going to beat their kids. And I said, why are you not going to beat your kids? I'm going to beat my kids. And they was like, do you know that's trauma? And I said, what do you mean that's trauma? Ain't no trauma. Ain't no trauma. What do you mean? I got beat and look how I am. I'm good. I'm fine. Right? I've been beaten. I've been fine. No, I'm not fine. And it's not the beating that was the issue. The issue was most times the beating that you get from parents is not justifiable. The force and the emotion that they're carrying at that point in time, it's not justifiable to the action you produced. Right? So at a point in time, I too would have said, no, I can beat, I'm going to beat my kids. And I was on that for a time. I was like, I'm beating my kids, beat my kids. But the reality of the situation, actually, when I started deepening it, and I started deepening, I was like, actually, wait, no. There were some beatings I got. That really shaped me because I was like, I felt it was unjust. I felt like some of the beatings that I got was out of your own anger. I felt like some of the beatings I got was because you decided that you were angry that day and I was in the firing line. And guess what? As a child, you learn that and you pattern your behavior. Right? So here's my major thing. This is my major thing. Okay, it's my major thing. Just because I understand you doesn't mean that your behavior isn't wrong, or your behavior is not problematic, or your behavior, there's some incongruence to your behavior. We're looking at it going, this is not quite right. Okay, right? So there's a there for me in this situation was what I was trying to bring to the table. I was trying to bring to the table like, listen, we are not a vacuum. A tree doesn't become a tree just like that. You know what I mean? When I was going hard on LaRon, ain't nobody calling me. You know what I mean? When I go hard on LaRon, so ain't nobody calling me. You know what I'm saying? I get it, right? But I wanna be real with you. The reason why also I was a little bit more harder is because I was looking at certain things that were happening. Even in the part where she was saying sorry, I want people to really go back and listen. She was still actually. I was like, and I told her, I said, "You're doing thinly veiled threats, saying that he can get it too." And I'm like, while you're doing that, do you not realize what's happening? Can you not see that this is affecting you? Can you not see that? And that's what I was trying to bring to that point. Like, can you not see? Can you not see? Yeah, Elsa was standing on 10 toes about me going hard on LaRon. I can't lie to you. Elsa was like, you going too hard on LaRon. Give that boy a break. You know what I mean? She was like, you going too hard on that boy. I hear it. You know what I mean? Right? So, yeah. Yeah, I just, I think, so that's why. So sometimes you ain't gonna get the win, right? So I just think to myself that yes, I can be accountable for a better method about doing something. When something goes wrong, you have to always look at how you can do something better. Which is why, again, I want to applaud and I want to appreciate those of you who also who highlighted that, who've highlighted the point that I could maybe answer questions in a better way. I really appreciate Jay, Sean, and Seaway highlighting that maybe the questioning I could have asked it in a different way. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Right? And so I appreciate that, you know what I mean? as well. So I ain't gonna be mad at that, right? I'm not gonna be mad at that. But like I said, I think it was just about me just trying to highlight something and say, listen, there's some things that are a little bit crazy, and so the interesting thing is, like, I think we, and also apart, and this maybe also Patricia said, I do it only to ladies. See, this is the kind of comment that I look at and I go, I know you bluffing. Because that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Right? Like, I don't mind people saying, but that's not true. That's not true. Just be accountable and leave it as being accountable, Patricia. You know what I mean? Like, I've held the men the same way. Listen, Laurent still gets smoke till now. And Laurent talk. I smoke him now. Come on, sis. Come on. See, when we start doing that, we're not being accountable. Let me say that. Maybe I should change the word. We're not being real about what's actually happening. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because everyone gets it. I give it to everybody. Like, Laurent gets roasted every time he comes on the platform. We roast Laurent. Shout out to Laurent because he be taking it. You know what I mean? Shout out to Laurent because he be taking it, because we do be getting at them. You know what I'm saying to you? But, and this is why I always try to protect myself with behavior, not whether I like you. You know what I'm saying to you? It's not about whether I like you or dislike you. It's about what the behavior is. Dom said I should pause. My bad. My bad, Dom. Yeah, you're right. I should pause that. My bad. There's a pause. My bad. No diddy. I'm still working on that, guys. Sometimes we say some stuff that's a little bit, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, and look, listen, I think I was harder in the past than I was with these. Like, listen, I'll be honest with you. Can I be honest with you? Really analyzing my own interviews, I was harder in the past. Man, I used to challenge people. Hey, this is me. I'm really cool at this point. We used to, you go to Houston, Pastor David, do you know the kind of heat he got from me? Nah. Nah. Pastor David got my smoke. What you talking about? What? AJ got my smoke too. Listen, you know what I mean? I gave a lot more harder smoke in the previous years than now. Now I'm trying to mellow out. I'm trying to be more, do you know what I'm saying to you? You know what I mean? Pastor David got it. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Right? So I've actually really mellowed. And so when people say that they've watched my content, I'm like, no, you haven't. Because if you did, you would have seen that. In the past, I really was. I was back, forth. I don't care what you say. Now we're going to challenge this. Now I'm a bit more like, okay, I'm only going to respond 2 or 3 times, and then we'll wait to the very end. Wait to the very end, and then we'll say something. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can't lie to you, Patrick. The way you described that is perfect. It's precisely why I was a bit more hard on her. It honestly is. Because honestly, I'm not saying, and listen, yeah, Morgan got it too. I can't lie to you. And hey, Tony too was getting Tony the Tiger. I gave Tony the Tigers. You know what I mean? And shout out to them. I appreciate them, man. Yeah, the panels were definitely more brutal. Listen, the panel would read you for filth. I mean, they get enough light here. You know what I mean? Light work here. Yeah, no. So, so now the situation, obviously, like you're absolutely right. I feel like there is a little bit of cognitive distance with the situation with Alexis. I do. I do feel like that a little bit, right? Because we spoke for 2.5 hours where I gave space to talk about certain things, and then when they're saying certain things and I challenge it, it's like, wow, right? So one of the cognitive distances I feel like, right, and in this situation, the panel's not soft. They're just more. You know what? They're not as heated as the first club, and I appreciate that. I'm not as heated. You know what I mean? So we don't want to go down that lane anymore. But I think one of the interesting things about the Alexis situation was that what people are not picking up is that she was still doing the threats. Like even to then, she was still doing the threats, still being passive aggressive. And I was like, yo, it's still ongoing, and it's happening right in front of me. And then obviously how it ended, I was like, that proves a point. This proves a point I'm trying to talk about, right? That you and maybe this is why and maybe this is why she was being recorded, because if you say stuff, right, and then you act like nothing's ever happened, right? If you say stuff, right, and you act as if you don't know what you said, then why people will record you, because they're like, wait, hold on a minute, you acted like you didn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying to you? You acted like you didn't act like you didn't say something. Look, let me just show you. I still I still laugh because I was so shocked. Great compliment though.
So
you know, it's a great compliment.
1,000 subscribers, like she's really big. So her page is called I Am Alani. So go show my girl some love, go show my nephew some love, and yeah, if y'all need some real estate or any sports type needs, go holler at them.
Appreciate it, Alexis. Thank you. Much love for coming on here. And, you know, I know it's not an easy crowd to, you know.
I'm glad I cut him off. I hadn't looked at a single comment. So
well, let's pause it there. Remember, she hasn't seen a single comment. Do you hear what she said? All right. She hasn't seen a single comment. Not one comment has she seen, because she's been focused on the conversation. So this is about me and her. Okay? All right? This is between me and her and our conversation. So whatever is happening with her right now, it's got nothing to do with them. It's to do with me. So she's not flinching because there's people on her neck now. It's simply just me. So we've gone from people surrounding you. That's what I said about listen to the pattern. It was about people around. Oh no, it's because people were surrounding me. Is it? Is it? Because if people surround me, I'm gonna tell you this now. I might say one or two. I'm gonna get out of there because that's my pattern, right? But now there's no one surrounding you, just me and you. Okay, it's not just me and you. Yeah, she did try to. I know Elle said she did. You know, you did. You caught that one too, but you know, I had to let that go. You know what I mean? Because unfortunately, the numbers were bigger than mine. I can't lie to you. She's on 300K. I can't really say that. You know what I mean?
I don't think we would have made it through. Oh my goodness, that was a 3.5 hour almost.
About 3 hours 10 minutes. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
You held your own, you know what I mean? And you let us know the truth, and I always respect that, you know what I'm saying to you? And it takes a big person to come up here and share their thoughts, their hearts, and what they've been through, so I'm not mad at it, you know what I'm saying to you? It's respect.
Absolutely. Can I ask you some questions since you've asked me so many?
Oh, you can go for it. Pause. Why would they need to, first of all, why does she need to ask me questions? Why does she need to ask me questions? You came here for an interview. You didn't come here, you know what I'm saying to you? You came for an interview. Why do you need to ask me questions? The rules, like, why do you have to ask me questions? But again, this is all behavior, so we can actually see it. You know what I mean? So we can actually see it. So at that point, then I have to look at the actual behavior and go, okay, let's see what this actually means. What does this entail? Why does somebody switch on that point? Right now, once you get to an understanding of this behavior, then we can see what potentially might have been doing in the show. I know. I saw it coming. I can't lie to you. I knew it was coming. I can't lie to you. I knew it was coming. When she said she was going to ask me questions, I know where you're going to. Because ain't nobody going to ask you questions and not be pressed. I knew, right? I knew. But at this point, it's like, no. Okay. I hear it. You know. Oh, Molly, no, Molly, come back. No, it's not us digging deeper. This is digging deeper so we can understand patterns of behavior, so we understand where it's coming from. Okay? All right, no worries. Right?
Are you a therapist, or are you professional at it?
Nope.
Yeah, I think I can kind of you probably should keep your day job, man. No, I'm just playing. Yeah.
But you weren't playing. This is the same thing that happened with this LaRon. The same thing that happens with other people. When you drop these bars, okay, all right. When you drop these bars, right, about asking if I'm a therapist or not, and then drop maybe you shouldn't consider it. You know what I'm saying to you? You are trying to shoot me at that point. And by the way, if you want some coaching, please do reach out to me. There's a link in the description box. It's linked to our Candidly as well. You know what I'm saying to you? And at that point, you know, we would, you know, we'd love you guys if you want some coaching. Absolutely. You know, I'm definitely going to keep it real, keep it true. And we'll always link the beginning to the end. Okay. All right. There's always a reason. Now, this situation here, what do I say about this then? Right? Okay. So what do I say about this? So now we're being passive aggressive, and what's going to happen is at the end we're like, we're cool. Well, if you're doing it to me, you're probably going to do it to someone else, right? If you're doing it to me, you're probably doing it to someone else. But if you throw rocks and hide your hand as if you don't know why people come at you, suddenly it's like, wait, hold on a minute, you don't know why people come at you? I know why they're coming at me. I know why they're coming at me. I know why people get on my neck. And I know why they get on my neck. I know why they come for me. You know what I'm saying to you? I have to be accountable and I have to be aware of that. I know why people come for me. I know that sometimes I can press a little bit too deeper, heavy. I get it. Okay, so I'm not mad at it. I have to understand it. But then you can't act like as if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think you like to in a way, almost in a way, Kojo, honestly, to overly analyze things.
Okay.
That you just, you know, some things you just gotta let it be what it is. So if I could give you any type of advice or, you know, ask you a question, I was like, is he a therapist or something? And yeah, I just don't think, don't read so.
That's a great compliment.
You think?
If you think
I mean,
I'm a therapist, a great compliment. Why would you think I'm a therapist?
Because you just seem like, you know, let's dig deeper into that. It just seems like I think you're over analyzing things.
But why would you think I'm a therapist though? If I analyze things and I wasn't, and it's not on a therapeutical level or psychological level, why would you think?
I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I have one of my best friend is a licensed therapist, and she sent a text message while I was live here tonight and was like, "Is he supposed to be a therapist or something?" I was like, "I don't know. Let me ask." So yeah, that's a compliment.
Because the person understands why I do think I'm a therapist, because the way I'm addressing the certain issues and going about it, it's kind of close to being almost like therapy. But I'm not a therapist. See, she thought she had me. And see, when people are passive aggressive, okay, when you are passive aggressive and you think you're shooting somebody, it's the same thing. Samson did the same thing to me. You know what I mean? It's the same. Listen, I get it every season. So I'm very much well versed in this. Every season, people either hit me up in front or they hit me from behind. Okay? All right? People hit me up from the front, people hit me from the behind, right? So if you say to me you think I'm a therapist, I'm gonna say, yeah. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Why would you think? Sorry, pause. I apologize. I pause. I can't. I apologize. I have to finish. The pause is needed. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. You know, I apologize, right? So, but the reality of the situation is, when you're saying to me, do you think you're a therapist? You're trying to say to me, don't think you're a therapist. Like you're not a therapist. You're not qualified, and you're trying to passive aggressively get at me, which is cool. But then it's like you are then in a sense looking to try to shoot me down, which is cool. So which is cool. But then watch what happens when I say that it's a compliment. Look what happens. Right? When I say it's a compliment to me, and I go, do you know what? I'm going to take it as a compliment. Which means now we know what you're trying to do. At that point, we know what you're doing, right? Because now she won't like it, the fact that I'm going to take it as a compliment. What's this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to, you can take it that way.
I appreciate it. Was I meant to get somewhere else? Was that meant to be bad? I thought it was a good thing.
I don't think it was meant to be bad, but I'm just like, you know, you seem to really want to analyze things that I don't think.
See, what I said to her, was I supposed to take it in a bad way? I took it as a compliment. I took it as a compliment. Because at the end of the day, I was like, well, if you're calling me a therapist, if your therapist recognizes me, thinks that, do I think I'm a therapist? It's because you recognize some stuff in me that you think there's therapy, baby. That's why. Okay? All right? That's why you're looking at me. So am I meant to sit down and be like, I'm broken by what you said? No. I'm like, you really are. I appreciate you because you're really highlighting what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So you're highlighting that. I think that, yes. Okay, so that then shows what your true intention was. You weren't trying to give me advice. You were trying to shoot me. And see, this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm saying about patterns of behavior. If you're doing it with me, more than likely it's going to be done with other people. If you're doing it with me, you're going to do it with other people. And that's my point of the situation, is that, no, the anger is still there. It's not a one-off. It's deeply seated. And it comes out. And I was trying to get to a point like, let's try and analyze where this is coming from. Alexis, where is this coming from? Right? You've already admitted you've got a dark side. Where is that dark side coming from? Right? So it's not about shooting her. This is not about shoot. Listen, we've been here for the last 50 minutes. If you think it's about shooting her, it's not about shooting her. It's about saying, what are the patterns? We need to understand the patterns. Okay, we need to understand the patterns so that we can understand where that person's coming from. So we can begin then to be like, okay, look, babe, look, this is why this right here. Okay, cool. But there's a reason why you did it. You know what I'm saying to you? Anger is not a personality. I'm so sorry. Anger is not a personality. Do you see the problem with that? Anger is not a personality. It's an emotion, which is reacted via stimuli, right? So it's not a personality. Anger is not a personality. So we can't say it's just her personality. It's not just her personality. This is why I was harping on it. This is not a personality. Whenever you make it something a personality, when it's an emotion, I'm just an angry person. Huh? It is not a personality. So you can't say, oh, that's just me. No, it's not just you, babes. And it's not just you, man. You know what I'm saying? Mandem, it's not just you. I'm just angry. No, it's not just you if you're angry. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's what I'm saying. Like, these little things are like, low. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, no, like, it's not a personality. So, you know, that's what we're trying to make people understand that, listen, no behavior is a vacuum. But she shot me. I can't lie to you. The shot was hard. I can't lie to you. She got me. And it was like, if you I've worked in corporate before. This was a corporate email. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I've always loved the little corporate emails. It's when you crack your nails and be like, all right, so we're doing, all right, so you said basically you're saying, therefore, okay, therefore, since you didn't see my last email, this is corporate email. You know? I'm not mad at it. It's corporate email. This is corporate email. That's why I said it's passive aggressive. We do this in corporate. Like, when someone sends you an email and you say, are you really? Oh, okay. As per my last email, yes, exactly. As per my last email, fine. Okay. Hold on a minute. I. We gonna get in this corporate email stuff because you want to be typing. All right, you want to be typing. Okay. So it says, circling back to my last email, you will see point 1 and 2. You know what I mean? It's corporate, and I get it. You know what I'm saying to you? I do get it. You know, so she corporate emailed me. I can't lie to you. I'm not gonna be mad at it. She corporate emailed me. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what I mean? So when you corporate email, you have to learn how to corporate email back. You know what I'm saying to you? So yes, it was a jostle in that situation. You know what I mean? Someone said they got in trouble for using their as per last email. Oh, Alexis is in the chat. Hello, Alexis. Hope you're good. Yeah. Let me get as per my last email.
Is on as accurate as you think you are with some things. Not just that, just from our interaction. Like, I don't think you were as on point as maybe you thought you were. Kind of like hitting nail on the head a little bit about some things. But so that's why she was just like, "Is he a therapist?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'll ask." But also, do you like what you do?
I love what I do. I love what I do, by the way, guys. She knows I love this.
So what do you think? Would you call yourself like a helpful person or a supportive person, an uplifting person?
Yeah.
So when it comes to like these type of platforms, and I respect your platform 1000%, absolutely. But I just think I want to challenge not only you, Kojo, but a lot more bloggers and just people in general.
Yeah, this wasn't about me. This here was, you know, she was still trying to, I know she said it was about everyone else on bloggers, but it was, I get it. She was coming at me. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying to you? I get it. Some of us bloggers sometimes, and even including myself, sometimes we are a little bit harsh. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Let's not, sometimes we can be a little bit harsh. I hear it. I'm not gonna try and fight on that.
To say, if you're not 1000%, and I get it, this is your moneymaker, you know what I'm saying? This is how you eat. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna knock your hustle. But as a Christian, as someone who really does follow Christ, like, do you think?
Now let's pause it here. See, when people talk about Jesus, okay, when people talk about Jesus and what we're doing, I don't like that. And here's why I don't like that, right? Would Jesus be asking you to go into Ready to Love? No. Did Jesus ask you to go into Ready to Love? Do you see how this works? Like when we start doing that, we put ourselves in a very dangerous position. Did Jesus say you should go into Holy? Did the Holy Spirit speak to you, Alexis, and say go into Ready to Love? Did he? Did you get God confirming that you should go into Ready to Love? Do you see how that works? When we do that, all right? When you do that, it's a problem. You get what I'm saying to you? So we can't do that, right? Because when we start doing that, we're going to very dangerous territories. I love what I do. My intention, and sometimes my impact can miss, let's be honest. But my intention all the time is to uplift people. It is to shine light on certain areas of behavior, to say, hey, look, this behavior needs to. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Someone said that Jesus asked to, you know what I mean? And exactly, someone could say, be filled with the Spirit, but not with wine. Does the scripture not tell us that? Be filled with the Spirit, not with wine. We can keep doing that game, but I don't do that because I wasn't questioning your faith. Right? I didn't question your faith for being angry in the midst of that moment. I didn't question it. I didn't question why you were angry and question your faith about why you were angry that moment and you did what you did. No. If you're a believer to believer, you dragged me. And you trying to tell me I'm dragging you for gossiping? I'm like, we're not gossiping. We're talking about your behavior. We saw it on the screen. This is not something that we didn't see. We saw it. And so we're judging based on what we've seen. And then we're seeing it right in front of us. So we're commenting on it and saying, hey, look at this and look at this. You see what I'm saying to you? So in that moment, we are all doing things that maybe you might, you know what I mean? I never questioned the faith because this wasn't a faith situation, right? Moses got angry. Elijah got angry. Okay, and Moses got so angry, he hit a rock and he didn't get to the promised land. Elijah got so angry, he called fire from heaven, it burnt people. You know what I'm saying to you? It got to a point, even the disciples were angry for Jesus and wanted to say, can we call down fire from heaven? And he said, nobody. No. You get what I'm saying to you? So, so this that's why I didn't like that. I didn't like that particular comment. That's the only one I really like. What I'm saying? That's the only part I didn't like per se. But you know what I mean? I think there's you know what I'm saying? It's just a different point of view, you know what I mean? I hear that, Daryl, but I just made the point about questioning. It's not about question. It's about understanding that if you're gonna start that questioning, everyone's gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be asking questions about, did the Spirit tell you to go on Ready to Love? Did the Spirit tell you to come on to this channel? Did you ask him before you went? Like, we can get into that place and it just becomes a very tricky circle of things. You know what I'm saying to you? Right? We're not gossiping. We talk about behavior here and we break down behavior. And sometimes that means people don't like what we're talking about. You know?
That it would be okay to be as judgmental or as kind of as critical as you have been about not only just me, but some of the other interviews and stuff that I've seen. Do you think that is aligned with who you are spiritually?
Which part would you feel is judgmental?
Just kind of just hot takes like every day, like with different things. Like you watch some of the stuff, and I don't watch all of it. I watched a little bit of with Dominique. And just a few other clips from other things. And it's just like, without even knowing people, a lot of times, I think a lot of bloggers don't realize that you guys analyze things and break things down in a way, and it's so harsh, and it could be so daunting on people. Like if they weren't a strong person, you know what I mean? Like it could really tear some people down.
Okay, so which part was judgmental? Because that's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for which part is judgmental. If we can make it very clear, so I can also make judgments too. Which part is judgmental? She said obviously the hot takes. What hot takes? We talk about behavior all the time, based on what we can see. So what are the hot takes? That's the reason why I chose behavior, was so that we can actually have a discussion about it. Because if you say that's not the behavior, then okay, give me a reason why that's not the behavior. So, and then it goes into yourself and other blogs. Well, if we're addressing me, address me. You know what I mean? If it's my blog that you're talking about, just address me in that way. So we can make it very clear. So we can make it very clear. Do you know what I'm saying to you? In that aspect. But I get it. You know what I'm saying to you? I do actually understand this point.
I just really want to challenge y'all to just really try and look at it from a lens that we don't know what we don't know. And maybe we shouldn't be as harsh as we've been in our judgments. You know what I mean? That's all. I just wanted to see how you felt about, if you felt like that was truly aligned with who you are. Do you feel like you could be better in some of your assessments or less harsh? Even not just about me, but other people.
I can only go on what you give me. So I make
We'll
we all make judgments, by the way. But I'm making judgments based on what you give me and what I've seen on the screen, right? Yeah. So I try to collect as much information as possible to make an incisive judgment, or to be able to give some helpful, constructive feedback or some information to help the person going forward. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think it aligns very much well with my faith.
I got you.
You know?
Well, this has been fun. I just wanted to ask you.
I mean, she could look. I would have listened. I would have definitely had more of a conversation. So I would have definitely had a conversation. I personally would have had a conversation and been, all right, well, which part do you don't like? I don't mind. Listen, like I said, because at a point in time, obviously, you got to be able to say your piece as well. You know what I'm saying to you? That's why I didn't have an issue going back and forth. It's like, you're giving me your opinion. You disagree with what I'm saying to you. Okay, cool. I disagree with what you're saying. That's how I was seeing it. I was just seeing it as a disagreement. You don't see it as I see it. Okay. I don't see it this way. Have you thought about this? Looking at that, I don't think you're accountable here. Okay, no, I think I'm accountable here. Okay, well, I don't think you're accountable here because you did this. You don't think I'm accountable. Okay, cool. That's how I was seeing it. But like I said, I can hold myself accountable and say also at the same time, the questioning, I could have shifted my questioning. I could have adapted a bit better. In the questioning, and asked questions like, am I really hearing what I'm hearing? I want to make sure that, are you saying this? Or do you mean this? Oh, are you actually? I could have asked more qualifying questions to really get a better understanding. So I'm not going to be mad at that point. You know what I'm saying to you? I think there's always growth on my part as well, that I have to be able to bring that to the foreground as well. You know what I mean? And look, not everyone's going to be happy and okay with the way I analyze. I cannot please everybody. If everybody liked me, we'd have a problem. Everyone shouldn't like you. You're a human being. There are going to be things that people are not going to like, and they're not going to like about the way you do things. But that's how they feel, and that's how they feel. And there's nothing you can really do about that. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So yes, Alexis didn't reach out to me. Yes, Alexis, you didn't reach out to me. I reached out to you. Absolutely right. Yeah, you reached out to me. So I reached out to you. So absolutely right. So that's a fair point. Mm-mm. But yeah. So what's up with my feelings hurt? Maybe a little bit, yeah. No, let's keep it real, buck. A little bit, yeah. I was disappointed. I think the ending of that conversation, I was disappointed. Of course, I was hurt. Yeah. I mean, I'll never lie. I was definitely hurt at the very end. I felt hurt. Yeah, of course. Because when people start questioning my faith and whether I have good intentions, yeah, I felt a little bit hurt by that. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah, I was disappointed. Big time. Yeah, and that's the truth. Like, when I work hard to try and give value to people, and I always want to give people value. Do you know what I mean? And I do try to, be good-hearted about it. You know what I'm saying to you? So yeah, I did feel a little bit like, oh, you know what I'm saying to you? But anyway, I think that's it. I don't know if that situation. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. Alrighty. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen, look. I want to tell you something, guys. I want to tell you something, okay? I want to tell you something. You know, um, I want to tell you something. The powerful thing is these are always great conversations. You know what? I went to pray, and stuff. And when I went to pray about it, I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity. And I say it's a great opportunity because I'm learning more about me and the way that I handle conflict. And sometimes you can't see the reaction. So in that moment, yeah, I was disappointed, I was hurt. But in previous times, I would have been, I would have taken that to heart and gone about my way and really been downcast about the situation. I won't tell anybody, but I would have been downcast about it. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But when I listened, I was like, what is the purpose? What is the purpose that you're gonna learn from this situation? You know what I mean? I was like, so even in how it ended, what do you get garnished from that situation? I was like, well, I don't believe everything she said about me. So there you go. And I was like, okay, get up, rise, take your mat, and walk. You know what I'm saying to you? At that point, it got to a point. Listen, I'm just saying this is my personal thing. When I heard, I was like, I don't believe what she's saying is true. Whereas beforehand, I would have internalized what she said and a lot of the comments, and I'd be like, and I'd have been in my house like fretting. You know what I'm saying to you? But I was like, no. Do you believe what she said? I said, no. Her end comments don't make up for me. No. Get your mat, rise up, and go. Yeah. And I was like, blessings. So for me, the learn for me always is that like there's always something to learn for me, and I learned from that point that just because it was said to me, doesn't mean I have to accept it. So I got up and went and go for it and said, listen, we can have a conversation. You don't have to be angry about it. You don't have to be, staying in your sadness. No. Get up and move. Get up and move. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah, there's no beef between me and Alexis. None at all. No beef. There's no beef between me and Alexis. None at all. None at all. I would even if she wanted to, she can come and say something she wants to. I'm always open. I'm no beef at all. Yeah. And says if the interview is longer than 2 hours, indication that one, the person is not very chatty, or two, more than likely you're not hearing the answers you want to hear. That's what it feels like. I wouldn't say that. We give people enough time to be able to say what they got to say. You know what I mean? So I think we do it so that people can say what they got to say. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that. I was reading it, but I wasn't reading it out loud. I apologize. I was reading it, but not reading it out loud. You know what I'm saying? Did I see them? Okay. All right, cool. Listen, let's get the popping and get off. You know what I'm saying to you? But I don't know if Alexis, if she wants to, I can always send a link. I don't mind. Like I think it'd be good to even have that post conversation and clear the air. you know, if she's available to, I'll wait for a few minutes. You know, and you know, so that's it. I don't mind having a conversation. I never get mad, you know. Yeah, it's always good to have a conversation. You know what I mean? I think it's always good. It's always good. I'm never afraid. Look, you don't have to be afraid of someone coming up and having a conversation. Like, even if they disagree with you, you don't have to be afraid of that. Like, see, beforehand I would have been afraid because it's like, it's going to go bad. No. We're having a conversation, and two adults should be able to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying to you? I'm not afraid to have a conversation because I know I'm not going to be disrespectful and I'm not going to be rude. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So don't be scared. Don't be scared. You have to be able to, listen, if lies, and you have to understand that you walk with victory. You don't have to be afraid of these things. You know what I'm saying to you? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be afraid. You know, you have to walk forward and move. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So, here we go. But I don't know if she's here. I don't know if she's actually still here. If not, then, you know. If not, then I think we'll end our live and go about our business. You know what I'm saying too? All right, listen. We're going to leave it and get our goings. I appreciate y'all as well, man. Been a good conversation. Whether we agree or disagree, you know, I appreciate it. Oh, okay, no worries, Alexis. No worries. You know what I mean? I appreciate that already. Like, yeah. Love for that, man. That's not a problem at all. Yeah, I saw. Probably not though. I've said what I would say. That's fair enough. Yeah. Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I appreciate you. Get me. All right. Much love and appreciation. Love and blessings. All right. And we're going to go. Anne said we should do it in private for Alexis. Doesn't need to be there. No, but it's in public. We had the beef in public, so sometimes I just like to do it in public because it's like people can learn from our conversation. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like when I did a commission reviews conversation. It's not about blasting anybody. It's about being able to have a conversation and be like, "Hey guys, it's a better way to handle things." You know what I mean? You know, so that's all it is. Yeah, but I'm always good. All right, listen. Appreciate you lot. Stay locked, stay loaded, and we're gonna bounce, and we'll see you again during the course of the week. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you.